Have you ever felt like you are doing everything right on keto, but your body is still not getting into ketosis? You stopped eating bread. You stopped eating pasta. You stopped drinking soda. You cut back on sugar. You started reading labels. You may even be cooking more meals at home than you have in years, but still something feels stuck. The scale is not moving the way you expected. Your belly fat does not seem to be changing. Your energy still goes up and down. Your cravings still show up at night. And maybe if you check ketones, the number is lower than you hoped. And this is where many people over 55 start thinking, maybe keto just does not work for me. But before you blame yourself, your age, your metabolism, or your willpower, I want you to hear this clearly. Sometimes the problem is not junk food. Sometimes the problem is healthy food. That may sound strange at first because most of us were taught that if a food is natural, full of fiber, or recommended in healthy eating plans, then it must be good for weight loss and good for the body. And many times, that is true. But keto is different. Keto is not just about eating healthy. Keto is not just about eating clean. Keto is not just about avoiding processed food. Keto is about keeping carbohydrates low enough so your body begins using fat and ketones for fuel instead of mostly relying on sugar from carbs. That means a food can be healthy in a regular diet, but still too high in carbs for ketosis. This is one of the biggest mistakes I see, especially with people over 55 who are trying to lose belly fat, improve energy, and support better blood sugar balance. They remove the obvious bad foods, but they keep eating the healthy carbs that quietly keep their body out of ketosis. So today, we are going to talk about 5 healthy foods that may secretly be stopping ketosis. And before we begin, let me say this clearly. These foods are not evil. They are not poison. They are not foods you need to fear. But if your goal is ketosis, fat adaptation, better appetite control, and steady energy, these foods may need to be limited, swapped, or removed for a while. The first healthy food that can secretly stop ketosis is oatmeal. Now, oatmeal has a very strong health reputation. Many people over 55 grew up hearing that oatmeal is one of the best breakfasts you can eat. It is warm, simple, affordable, and comforting. Some people eat it every single morning because they believe it is good for the heart, good for digestion, and better than sugary cereal. And compared to donuts, pastries, pancakes, or sweet cereal, plain oatmeal is definitely a better choice. But here is the problem. Oatmeal is still a grain, and grains are high in carbohydrates. Even when oatmeal is plain, it can still take up a large part of your daily carb amount if you are trying to stay in ketosis. And most people do not eat oatmeal plain. They add banana, they add raisins, they add honey, they add milk, they add brown sugar, they add dried fruit. Sometimes they add a little maple syrup because they think, well, it is natural, but your body still sees those carbs. Your body does not say, this came from a healthy breakfast, so I will ignore it. No, your body breaks those carbs down into glucose. And if enough glucose is available, your body will usually use that glucose before it shifts into making ketones. This is why some people eat oatmeal every morning, then wonder why they feel hungry again 2 hours later. For many people, especially after 55, a high-carb breakfast can start a blood sugar roller coaster early in the day. You eat the oatmeal, blood sugar rises, insulin rises. Then a few hours later, energy drops. Then cravings come back. And by lunchtime, you may feel like you need another snack. This does not mean oatmeal is bad for everyone, but if you are trying to get into ketosis, oatmeal may be one of the first foods to check. A better keto breakfast could be eggs with spinach, an omelet with mushrooms and cheese, boiled eggs with avocado, or plain unsweetened Greek-style yogurt in a small portion with chia seeds. The goal is to start the day with protein, healthy fats, and very low-carb foods so your body does not begin the morning with a large glucose load. So ask yourself this, is your breakfast truly helping ketosis, or is it just healthy by old standards? That one question can change everything. The second healthy food that may stop ketosis is bananas. Bananas are one of the most common fruits in the world. They are easy to eat, easy to carry, soft, sweet, and familiar. Many people think of bananas as a harmless food. Parents give them to children. Seniors eat them for potassium. Some people add them to smoothies. Others slice them on oatmeal, yogurt, or toast. And yes, bananas do contain nutrients. But for keto, bananas are tricky because they are also high in natural sugar and carbs. And this is where people get confused. They say, but it is fruit. It is not candy. And that is true. A banana is not the same as a candy bar. But when your goal is ketosis, the body still counts the carbohydrates. Natural sugar is still sugar. Fruit carbs are still carbs. And if you are trying to stay very low carb, one banana can be enough to slow down ketosis for many people. This is especially important if you are also eating other carb foods during the day. Maybe you have half a banana in your smoothie. Then you have a sweet potato at lunch. Then a few beans at dinner. Then maybe a handful of nuts while watching TV. Each one may seem small, but by the end of the day, your carb total may be much higher than you realize. And the frustrating part is, you may feel like you did everything right because all the foods looked healthy. This is why keto can feel confusing. You are not eating cookies. You are not eating fries. You are not drinking soda. But your body may still not be getting the low-carb signal it needs to move into ketosis. For keto, a better fruit choice may be a small portion of berries, like strawberries, raspberries, or blackberries. Even then, portion matters. A few berries with a meal can be very different from a large bowl of fruit eaten by itself. If you love bananas, you do not have to say goodbye forever. But if you are struggling to get into ketosis, try removing bananas for a few weeks and see what happens to your hunger, cravings, and energy. Sometimes the food that feels harmless is the one quietly keeping progress stuck. Before we move to food number 3, take a moment and think about this. Do you have one healthy food that you eat almost every day without checking the carbs? If yes, write it down or keep it in your mind as we continue, because by the end of this video, you may find the one small change that makes keto much easier. And if this video is helping you understand your body instead of blaming your body, please like the video and subscribe. This channel is here to make keto simple, calm, and realistic for life after 55. The third healthy food that can stop ketosis is sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are often seen as one of the healthiest carbs. And again, they are not bad. They contain fiber, they contain vitamins, they are whole food. They are much better than chips, candy, or white bread. But sweet potatoes are still starchy, and starch turns into glucose in the body. This is where the keto difference matters. On a regular healthy eating plan, a sweet potato with chicken and vegetables may be a great meal. But on keto, that same sweet potato may be enough to push your carbs too high. Many people do not realize how quickly starch adds up. A sweet potato at lunch may not seem like much, but if breakfast had oatmeal, lunch had sweet potato, and dinner had beans, that is a lot of carbohydrate for someone trying to stay in ketosis. And after 55, many people are also dealing with gradual muscle loss, lower activity levels, insulin resistance, poor sleep, stress, or medications that may affect weight and blood sugar. So the body may not handle carbs the same way it did at age 25. That does not mean you cannot improve. It simply means your carb tolerance may be different now. A better keto swap for sweet potatoes could be cauliflower mash, roasted cauliflower, sautéed cabbage, zucchini, broccoli, mushrooms, asparagus, or green beans in a controlled portion. You can still make meals feel warm and satisfying. For example, instead of mashed sweet potatoes, try mashed cauliflower with butter, garlic, salt, and a little cheese. Instead of roasted sweet potato cubes, try roasted zucchini and cauliflower with olive oil and herbs. Instead of a baked sweet potato beside your protein, try avocado and a large serving of non-starchy vegetables. The goal is not to eat boring food. The goal is to build meals that give your body the signal you want. If you want ketosis, your plate has to tell your body, carbs are low, it is time to use fat. If your plate keeps sending the message, here comes more starch, your body may keep choosing glucose. The fourth healthy food that may be stopping ketosis is quinoa. Quinoa has become very popular because people call it a superfood. You see it in salads, healthy bowls, meal prep containers, and clean eating recipes. It has some protein, some fiber, and some minerals. So many people assume it must be perfect for weight loss. But keto is not based only on whether a food has nutrients. Keto is based on carb level, and quinoa is still too high in carbs for many people trying to stay in ketosis. This is one of the most common traps. A person may make a beautiful bowl with quinoa, chickpeas, sweet potato, carrots, greens, and dressing. It looks colorful. It looks natural. It looks like something from a health magazine. But for keto, it may be a carb-heavy meal. And this is why you need to be careful with the word healthy. Healthy for whom? Healthy for what goal? Healthy in what amount? If your goal is general clean eating, quinoa may fit. If your goal is strict ketosis, quinoa may not fit very well. The body does not care if a food is trendy. The body responds to the total carbohydrate load. And when carbs are too high, insulin may stay higher, stored fat, the body may be less likely to rely on stored fat for fuel, and ketone production may stay lower. That is the simple truth. A better keto bowl would start with leafy greens, not quinoa. Then add protein like chicken, turkey, eggs, tuna, salmon, beef, or shrimp. Then add low-carb vegetables like cucumber, celery, mushrooms, zucchini, cabbage, spinach, lettuce, or broccoli. Then add healthy fats like avocado, olive oil, olives, or a small amount of cheese if you tolerate it. That kind of bowl can still be big, filling, colorful, and satisfying, but it keeps carbs much lower. And here's the part many people love once they get used to keto. When protein and fat are higher and carbs are lower, appetite often becomes easier to manage. You may not feel the same need to snack all day. You may not feel as controlled by cravings. You may feel steadier between meals. Of course, results vary from person to person, but many people notice that once they reduce hidden carbs, keto finally starts to feel more natural. Food number 5 is beans and chickpeas. This one surprises many people because beans have a very healthy reputation. Black beans, kidney beans, lentils, chickpeas, hummus, and bean soups are often seen as heart-healthy, high fiber, and good for digestion. And for some people, they can be part of a healthy diet. But on keto, beans and chickpeas can be a problem because they contain a lot of carbs. Yes, they have fiber. Yes, they have some protein. But they are still not low-carb foods. This is especially important with hummus. Many people think hummus is light because it is smooth, plant-based, and often eaten with vegetables. But hummus is made from chickpeas, and chickpeas are carb-heavy. Then people eat hummus with carrots, crackers, pita bread, or a large portion of vegetables, and the carbs climb even more. The same thing happens with lentil soup. It sounds healthy. It feels light. It may even be homemade. But if the main ingredient is lentils, beans, potatoes, carrots, or other starchy foods, it may not support ketosis. Again, the food is not bad, but it may not match the goal. For a keto-friendly soup, try broth with chicken, beef, turkey, or fish, plus low-carb vegetables like cabbage, spinach, zucchini, mushrooms, cauliflower, celery, and herbs. For a keto-friendly dip, try avocado dip, sour cream-based dip, cream cheese with herbs, or a small portion of a low-carb dressing with cucumber slices. For a keto-friendly plate, choose protein first, vegetables second, and fat third. This is where keto becomes much easier. Instead of asking, is this food healthy? Ask, will this food help me stay low enough in carbs to support ketosis? That is a better question, because many foods can be healthy but not keto, and that difference matters. Now let's put everything together in a simple way. The 5 healthy foods we covered are oatmeal, bananas, sweet potatoes, quinoa, and beans or chickpeas. Each one has a healthy reputation, and each one can still be too high in carbs for ketosis. So if your progress has been slow, do not immediately assume keto is failing. Look at your daily meals. What do you eat for breakfast? What do you add to your smoothie? What do you use as the base of your lunch bowl? What side dish do you put next to your chicken or fish? What snack do you eat at night? That is where the hidden carbs often live. They are not always in cookies or candy. Sometimes they are in the foods you trusted most. And please hear this part carefully. You do not have to become afraid of food. You do not have to be perfect. You do not have to throw away everything in your kitchen tonight. Start with one meal. For many people, the best place to start is breakfast. If you eat oatmeal and banana every morning, Try a keto breakfast for 1 week, maybe eggs with avocado, maybe an omelet with spinach, maybe boiled eggs with cucumber and cheese, maybe plain yogurt with chia seeds if it fits your carb limit. Then notice what changes. Are you less hungry? Are cravings lower? Is your energy steadier? Do you feel more in control around food? That information is powerful. You are not guessing anymore. You are learning how your body responds. And after 55, that matters. Your body may need a clearer signal. It may need more protein. It may need fewer hidden carbs. It may need better sleep, more walking, and less late-night snacking. But it is not too late. You can still make changes. You can still support your metabolism. You can still feel better in your body. The key is to stop mixing two different plans. A regular healthy diet and a keto diet are not always the same thing. A regular healthy diet may include oats, bananas, sweet potatoes, quinoa, and beans. A keto diet usually focuses more on eggs, fish, chicken, turkey, beef, low-carb vegetables, healthy fats, and very limited sugar and starch. Both approaches can look healthy, but they do not send the same signal to the body. So if you want ketosis, build your plate this way. Start with protein. That could be eggs, fish, chicken, turkey, beef, or another protein that works for you. Then add non-starchy vegetables. Think spinach, broccoli, cauliflower, zucchini, cucumber, cabbage, mushrooms, lettuce, celery, asparagus, or green beans. Then add healthy fats. That could be olive oil, avocado, butter, olives, or a small portion of nuts. This plate gives your body protein for muscle, vegetables for nutrients and fiber, and fats for satisfaction without overloading you with carbs. And here is something very important for seniors. Protein matters after 55. Many people focus only on carbs, but muscle is one of your best metabolic tools. Muscle helps your body use glucose better, supports strength, protects mobility, and helps you age with more independence. So do not make keto only about eating fat. Make it about the right balance, enough protein, low-carb vegetables, healthy fats, and fewer hidden carbs. That is a much better approach. Now, before you make big changes, especially if you have health conditions, please be careful. If you take insulin, diabetes medication, blood pressure medication, or you have kidney disease, heart disease, or any major medical condition, talk with your doctor before making major diet changes. A very low-carb diet can affect blood sugar, blood pressure, fluid balance, and medication needs. That does not mean you cannot do keto. It means you should do it safely. The goal is not extreme dieting. The goal is better understanding. Your body is always responding to the information you give it. Food is information. When you eat high-carb foods, even healthy ones, your body receives one message. When you lower carbs, increase protein, and choose keto-friendly foods, your body receives a different message. So if ketosis has felt difficult, maybe you do not need to try harder. Maybe you just need to remove the hidden carbs that are confusing the signal. And this is good news, because it means you are not failing. You may simply be 1 or 2 food swaps away from better progress. Maybe it is replacing oatmeal with eggs. Maybe it is replacing banana with berries. Maybe it is replacing sweet potato with cauliflower mash. Maybe it is replacing quinoa with leafy greens. Maybe it is replacing hummus with avocado dip. Small changes can create a big difference over time. And remember, the goal is not to punish yourself. The goal is to help your body feel safe, steady, and supported. You deserve to feel strong. You deserve to have energy. You deserve to understand what is happening inside your body. So this week, choose one meal and check for hidden carbs. Not the whole day, not your whole life, just one meal. Look at it honestly and ask, is this meal truly keto or is it just healthy? That one question can help you break through a plateau. If this video helped you, please subscribe and write the word ketosis in the comments. That tells me you want more simple keto guides made, especially for people over 55. And if you know someone who is eating healthy but still struggling with keto, share this video with them. It may help them stop blaming themselves and finally see what has been holding them back. Because healthy does not always mean keto. And once you understand that, keto becomes much easier. You are not too old, you are not too late, and your body is not broken. You just need the right foods, the right plan, and one steady step at a time.